point.
Ugo, Adetokumbo. Now, y'all know that carry last. Giannis went out there and showed that he doesn't carry last. He showed that he is, in fact, the best player in the planet. He is the best player on the planet. He is the best player in the world. See, here's the thing, Sel.
Nope.
Giannis, we doubted if he had that clutch gene. It was just a year ago that some of the most respected analysts in the game said that Giannis might, in fact, be Robin. We were questioning, does he have killer instinct? Oop, proved that. Became the Bucks' all-time leading scorer over Kareem on a step-back three in your eye. 110, tie the game. Let's go into overtime real quick. Giannis erased the doubts of his clutch gene, number one. Giannis erased the doubts of his free throw making ability. He hit 2 free throws to give them the lead to end the game. Giannis also has started to diminish some of the questions about his ability to shoot the three. He ain't even scared to take the shot no more. The tie-in bucket, step back. I need that. Bomb, all that. 3 of them. Give them to me. So, Giannis is clearly the best player in the world, but without all the gyrations, without all of the semantics.
Hello.
There were 2 plays, y'all. In case you missed the game, I will summarize the entirety of the game and the entirety of this question by showing you 2 plays. These 2 plays are the distinction between Giannis, the best player on the planet, and Kevin Durant, an incredibly good player, but the second.
Oh! You said incredibly good? You couldn't even just simplify and say great? What did Kevin Durant do to you at UT? Let me just hear this. Keep going.
2 plays.
What?
The first play.
What?
End of regulation. KD has the last shot. Sel, you remember this. Giannis doubles on to KD. Perfect timing. KD can't take the shot. KD fades away. KD misses. We're going into OT. That is the first play. Remember, there is a small difference between Giannis and KD. Small difference. Giannis, he doubles on to KD. KD doesn't get the bucket. Let's go into the final shot by Giannis. Overtime. Now KD is about to double on to Giannis. Roles are reversed. KD double on to Giannis. Giannis, you still gonna get a bucket. Giannis gets to the free throw line, fouled, hits both of those free throws to win the game. So there's a very, very, very small difference between Giannis and KD. It's not like this is some gigantic gap. There's no Red Sea that needs to be parted. It's a sliver of a difference. But what is the difference? Giannis doubles on to KD, game on the line. Giannis, efficiency, KD doesn't get the bucket. Goes into overtime. KD doubles on to Giannis, game on the line. Giannis still finds a way to get the job done. Giannis is clearly, abundantly, unequivocally, beyond any shadow of any doubt, the best player in the National Basketball Association.
Oh, man. He balled last night. I'll give you that. You know what? I know you expected a fight up here, but I actually agree with you. April Fool's fool! Hell no, he ain't the best player. You could even, your opening sentence told me everything. You know I'm a behavioral psychologist online on YouTube. I watch a lot of those. And I heard you stumbling to try and find it. He's the best player, planet, and play. Man, stop. You are too articulate to be trying to come up here and lie. You got caught lying because you can't lie to yourself. You know damn well that Giannis is not the best player on this planet. Let me tell you why. I'm going to use Giannis's words. Just last year, he said that Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet. And then everyone went at Giannis like, what kind of competitor are you? Already admitting, we had that discussion, admitting that another player is better than you, and that player plays your position, plays your style. You admitting that? You're sorry. And guess what he went out there and did? Proved everyone wrong in a team atmosphere by winning the championship. But in the front of his mind, not even the back of his mind, Giannis knows that Kevin Durant is better than him. Let me tell you what happened last night. Last night, they win the game by 1 point in overtime at the free throw line.
Cool.
So there's no huge gap between these 2 teams.
It's small.
I love it. But both of these teams are not the same. One is fully loaded, ready, championship level, bringing it all back and ready to go get it. The other one is still out there trying to figure this out. So what I witnessed yesterday were 2 different classes at the same school. One was chemistry class. Hey, Kevin Durant. Hey, Kyrie Irving. How much of you do I need for this formula? How much of you do I need for this formula? How much of Ben Simmons we even going to get to add to the formula? I forget all that. I love you, man. I respect you. Reverence here. Pass the ball here. Defer here. We going to figure this formula out because you know what? This is not the time where it matters most. Versus, oh, my God, the Milwaukee Bucks came in there on fire. Hot. Applied physics was the course that they were taking. We already fully loaded. We're already fully ready. activate. And they went in there and just threw everything on the wall. Respect to what they did because they won that game just by that much. But if they would have called that flagrant foul on Wes Matthews, it wouldn't have even been a free throw. It wouldn't have even been a problem. Oh, God, Lord, why didn't they do that? The free throw line in the game, Giannis missing free throws in the fourth quarter, missing free throws in overtime to get it to this position. They win by 1 point and you're the champion, and they ain't even fully loaded the team you playing against. Oh, my God, this is going to be a problem when they see him in the playoffs, bro. Giannis, respect for you. You're climbing the mountain. You're getting closer to Kevin Durant. But remember, KD is still at the apex.
KD is a great player, big dog. Great player. He's just not as good as Giannis. Here is what this world refuses to acknowledge, at least the basketball world. There's such a thing as defense. Please acknowledge the fact that there is such a thing as defense. Top players in the National Basketball Association. Jokic ain't never been first team, all defensive, or all defensive. LeBron, since he left Miami, he ain't been a first team, all defensive player. Embiid has, but Giannis has first team 3 of the last 3 years and is going on 4 right now. So we know beyond any shadow of any doubt that Giannis is a better defender than Kevin Durant. So we're already talking about 50% of... No, there is no
Ask the Golden State Warriors.
There is no one.
Those 3 years.
There is no,
okay,
that's fine. There is no one.
That's fine.
So 50% of the game of basketball, Giannis is clearly better than Kevin Durant at.
It's not 50%. You are not half the time on offense, half the time on defense. Don't do that. You already know that. I'm not even going to get into those weeds, but you know damn well it ain't half the time. It sounds good, but that's simple. That's too lazy. Go ahead. You already know I'm right, too. Oh, we spend half the time on offense in football. We had 30 minutes of time of possession.
It's a mathematical equation that roughly 50% of the time.
Oh, now we got rough. That's all I wanted to bring up. The rough part.
I hate this man. I'm glad you're gone next week.
Listen.
50% of the time, Giannis is on defense, and we know that he's clearly a better defensive player than Kevin Durant. So if he already got that over and done with, Kevin Durant needs to be that much better than Giannis is on offense, as Giannis is better than Kevin Durant on defense. And the fact of the matter is, it's just not the case. Who dropped 50 points last year in the NBA Finals? Oh, wait, Kevin Durant wasn't in the NBA Finals last year. Great. Who dropped 90 points collectively in the last 2 closeout games? Giannis dropped 40 points in the closeout game against the Nets. Giannis dropped 50 points in the closeout game against the Suns. So Giannis is a greater talent on defense over Kevin Durant than Kevin Durant is a greater talent on offense over Giannis. That's the easiest way to simplify it. But if we wanted to get complex, Giannis has won the last 5 matchups over these Nets. But here's my problem. My biggest problem with you, so is this.
Oh, you changed.
My biggest problem with your take is this. You keep telling me that the Nets are figuring it out. The Nets have been figuring it out for 600 days now. Eventually, we have to come to terms with the fact that it's just not going to get figured out. You've been here. I've been here.
Where you been?
Relationally, when you get to a point you dating somebody and it's like, hey, man, how are you and Sarah? Oh, man, how are you and Stacy? Oh, man, how are you and Kiki? Oh, man, we figuring it out.
Sarah and Kiki?
We figuring it out.
Range. you hollering at it.
Eventually, you got to realize it's just not going to get figured out. If this is the greatest version of the Nets, which it is, I'm not talking about on names on a roster, but talent. The greatest version of the Nets cannot beat the Bucks. You saw it last year in the series. You've seen it again now. The Bucks won 2 consecutive games last year in the playoffs, and they've won all the 3 consecutive games in the regular season this year. I don't know what else you need to see, big dog. Your faith needs to be your eyes.
Ooh, I love you. I love you. I love you. Can we admit this? What we saw Giannis do last night is try to PR and set a world record in the prelims. Here's the thing. I used to watch track and field faithfully, especially the prelims, because a lot of times you're not going to see those guys in the finals. But they trying, they damn this, they tilting. And I always wanted more than cocktail party knowledge with track. Watch the finals if you want cocktail party. Watch the podium. But if you really want to act like you know something, say a name that's obscure and people are like, you was watching on Wednesday. You was watching on Friday. Giannis showed up to the prelims and said, I'm about to PR. I'm about to set a record right here. You ever watch Usain Bolt in the prelims? You know what he's trying to do? Just qualify. You watch these Brooklyn Nets right now, you know what they're trying to do? Just qualify. Just get into it. Giannis went out there at full throttle for many reasons. Here's one. The MVP conversation. He knows it's Jokic's to lose right now. Of lately, Giannis is like, no, it ain't. I'm coming to get that. And against Embiid, when he dropped 40 plus on Embiid in the Sixers, barely won that game as well, even though the Nets beat him by 29, whatever. In that situation, fully motivated MVP conversation. but also fully motivated because y'all clowned him when he said Kevin Durant was better than him last year. So every time he sees Kevin Durant, full throttle. Last 5 games against Kevin Durant, 5-0. You mentioned that. Points per game, 38. He's beasting, 38 and 11. Goodness. However, since we want to use the number 5, let's talk about Giannis versus Kevin Durant. And in the last 5 seasons, why does Giannis' numbers drop?
5 seasons?
Yeah. Well, how else are you going to be the best player? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's have this conversation. He's the best player.
You're talking about 5 seasons.
Yeah. He's the best player on the planet because of what happened on March 31st, Thursday night. Oh, it's not that. So then we have to go backwards. How far do we go back? You want to go what? A few months? You want to go a year? You want to go 5 years? When are you going to go back to give me a reference when you become the best player on the planet?
I think
Kevin Durant wasn't the
what is fair,
best player on the planet.
What is fair would at least
March
say
31st.
We can't go back 5 years.
Well, first of all, you can't set the rules on this because KD has been in the league.
Let's collectively set them.
Okay. Since you got in the league, when did they declare you the best player on the planet?
They declared Giannis the best player on the planet roughly a year ago. We started to have those conversations. It was LeBron James. Oh, he fell off after they won the bubble championship. Then it was Kevin Durant. He dropped 49, what was it, 49, 17, and 10 in the playoff game in what would have been or could have been a closeout type of elimination game. Okay. Then it was Kevin Durant. Yeah. Giannis even proclaimed, Kevin Durant's a beast. But then Giannis...
he didn't say he's a beast.
He said the best player. Yeah. But then Giannis proceeded to give him a 40-piece in an elimination game, then go against the Suns and give them a 50-piece in an elimination game. Here's my thing, though, Sal.
How many championships does Giannis have since we only going to do 4?
He has 1.
How many Kevin Durant got?
He got 2.
How many finals MVPs Giannis got?
Got 1.
Well, how many Kevin Durant got?
2.
Like, when he going to beat Kevin Durant in something?
So,
I know he hasn't been in the league.
How many league MVPs? Giannis about to get 3 league MVPs to Kevin Durant's 1. But beyond all that, here's what we have to say.
Don't do that.
Because we could easily argue how many MVPs LeBron got. How many championships LeBron got?
Jordan, Kobe, they all didn't get what they deserved in terms of MVPs. That's a rotating trophy. Don't do that. We're talking about the finals when we lock it in. That's the Jordan argument. He could have won it every year. Kobe, he should have won it every year.
What argument are you making? Kevin Durant was a finals MVP in 17 and 18. We are in the year of 2022, sir. Yes. It's time to move on and move forward.
I will move forward. But guess what? I'm moving forward with Kevin Durant still the best player on this planet. Kevin
Based on what? Well, give me some sort of objective argument to say that.
I am, but you don't like him. So
give it to me. I'm writing it down. Take notes.
He took this team by himself last year to Game 7, a toe game. Kevin Durant by himself.
And he lost, correct?
And he lost to them, yes. But guess what? He was already bona fide as the best player on the planet. So he didn't lose by a gap enough to take him from being the best player on the planet. He comes into this year. Right now, KD is performing better than Giannis. Yes.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
In what?
In what categories? Let's get this. You ready? Who's scoring more this year? You don't even know.
Keep going. I know Giannis up there. If Giannis about to surpass LeBron James, that he scored 46 points.
Dog.
Giannis is going to be the leading scorer in the NBA if he would have had 2 more points last night.
You are breathe right now, brother. I love you so much.
I don't want to breathe.
Guess what? You know why? Giannis is outscoring Kevin Durant.
Of course.
Yes, of course. But you just right now went through all that huffing and puffing. I'm trying to give you ammunition. He's outscoring. Yeah, Giannis is outscoring KD right now. But his team is performing better than KD's right now. And all this stuff is helping him win an MVP potentially right now. And guess what all this is going to do? Try to close the gap of where KD already is. That's the argument. You can't take me and surpass me unless you're behind me. So that's the whole point. He's behind Kevin Durant. And all. Well, we'll
here's
see.
what we know.
I don't think it's a was conversation.
Here's what we know. Kevin Durant and Giannis last year in the playoffs, Kevin Durant was slightly better. You wouldn't have said Kevin Durant was way better, I don't think, because Giannis has back-to-back MVPs at that point.
Can I do what you do?
Go ahead.
Can we make sure we start them at the right place? Kevin Durant was way better than Giannis started the playoffs in terms of people's thoughts and perception. Come on. Whatever.
The only reason we can't say that is you can't be a back-to-back NBA MVP and somebody be way better than you. Last year, at the start of the playoffs, the Joker hadn't won the MVP yet. So last year at the start of the playoffs, Giannis was back-to-back MVP. Yeah. So I don't know who in their right mind collectively as a team, yes. But I don't know how we can say anybody's a back. When Steve Nash was back-to-back MVPs, we weren't like, yo, somebody's way better than him.
Yes,
we were like, Kobe should have won it. But we weren't like, Kobe was way better than that. When Steph went back-to-back as an MVP, we weren't like, yo, LeBron is way better than. We might have said Bron should have won it, but we weren't like LeBron is way better than. When Bron went back-to-back MVPs, and then D Rose stole one, we were like, man, Bron should have won 5 straight. But we never were like somebody's way better than a person who has back-to-back MVPs in any sport.
Our way better could be a lot different, and I don't want to get bogged down by that. But Kevin Durant was better than Giannis.
Correct. I agree with you by a sliver.
And whatever you want to call that. And look, I'm using Giannis to make my argument. And you're arguing me. You need to go call your boy Giannis. Giannis said that KD was better than him just a year ago.
Sure.
And more importantly, Giannis last night after the game passes Kareem, gets the win, says this, I'm changing the narrative on me. You want to know what the narrative is also? That Kevin Durant is better than you, bruh. Giannis is admitting something that you can't even admit, which is crazy because Giannis is being humble and being transparent.
No, Giannis is being humble, period. That last sentence is a lie. Giannis is being humble, period. Here's what we have to remember.
What?
Giannis is never going to proclaim himself as the best player in the league. Kevin Durant took to Twitter last night and calls himself a god, a deity.
God is in you.
God.
You read the Bible?
Sure. But he called.
Well, you're a God then.
He called himself a God. I will never proclaim myself as nobody's God. I will proclaim myself as Emmanuel. I got the Holy Spirit in me, but I ain't gonna get to all this theology right now on Speak for Yourself set. We can go to church for that one. But KD is referring to himself as a God. Giannis ain't got that God complex.
Okay, that's real.
So Giannis is not ever going to say that he's the best player in the league. Not this version of Giannis. He will defer that credit to Kevin Durant, whether it is true or not.
Oh, so Giannis lying now. Okay.
I think it's humble. I think at the end of the day, you know what it is, big dog. I've never heard Denzel go out there and say, I'm the greatest actor on the planet. I think I've heard that. I don't know that Denzel's ever deferred credit, but I know far too often incredibly talented people understand there's a lot of talent around them. So they will defer. Kevin Durant's not a defer. Kevin Durant just said that his jersey should be retired by 2 organizations and called himself a god within a 24-hour period. So we know that KD is going to proclaim himself as the best player on the planet.
I understand what you're trying to do, and I like it. And it's not you. Usually I root for the underdog, and you're rooting for the underdog in this situation. It's okay. Giannis is that close, and Giannis may get the MVP again. Giannis may win a championship again. And all of that is still going to be in service to trying to surpass where Kevin Durant is. They just came out with, what was that, the top 100 NBA players list? Giannis wasn't higher than Kevin Durant, and that's after winning the championship. No one on this planet thinks that Giannis is better than Kevin Durant. But if you want to make that, including Giannis, but if you want to make that argument, several people do? Okay, I love you and your family. But here's the thing. If you look at the situation for what it is, because Giannis is almost there, bruh. But that doesn't mean that Kevin Durant can't continue to outpace him when necessary, when activated. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant played like 3 games together this year. And taking the champions to overtime and the free throw line is going to be the deciding factor? I don't know. You ain't been, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Giannis has more points than KD. Giannis has won the last 5 matchups. Giannis has more MVPs recently, more league MVPs. Giannis has more finals. He has more finals MVPs recently. Giannis won the game last night. I don't know what you can look at to say that Kevin Durant is still better than Giannis. That would be like me saying LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA based upon what he's done historically. Was Giannis worse than Kevin Durant 3 years ago? I'm going to give you that. But if Giannis has given you back-to-back MVPs and a finals MVP, since Kevin Durant last gave you a finals MVP or a league MVP, I don't know what else you need to see. He's about to be a 3-time NBA MVP, Sel. He's by far and away.
Don't act like Jokic ain't out there still winning this race.
But based on this, we've got about 6 games left. Giannis is about to be a 3-time NBA MVP. Bird, Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Russell, Giannis. I don't know how you can still hold on to your hope of Kevin Durant being the best player in the league.
Well, it's not even hope. Like, March 31st doesn't dictate that answer, doesn't determine that answer. That's the thing. So Giannis is doing all this, and that's great. But then he has 1 championship to show for it. And before that, it was a huge narrative of underachievement. Kevin Durant's never been in that conversation in terms of underachievement since Giannis has been the guy. Think about it.
OKC, big dog. Remember, KD was up 3-1 and got dubbed on, and he was in the finals and got dubbed 4-1.
Yes, and now you're mapping early Kevin Durant to now Giannis. And Giannis just 1 year ago, at most, got out of that conversation. You know how long Kevin Durant's been out of that conversation? years, 5, 6 years now, and that's my point. So now we're trying to match the calendars. My last point is this. This may be drive it home for you. Let's go track and field one more time. If you ran up to Usain Bolt, imagine you're third best in the world, right? And you ran up to Usain Bolt at the hotel while y'all staying there in town. You're in Zurich or something. Hey, Usain, let's race right now. See who the best on the planet is. Usain like, what? What are you talking about? Go to sleep. I said right now. It's March 31st. It's Thursday. Let's race right now. Usain like, it's the Olympics right now? World Games? Give me something. I said I want to race you. Everybody say you better than me, including me, but I want to race you right now. He ain't getting out the bed for that. You did the same thing. I did the same thing. When you that dude, you got to make an appointment, and the appointment is the playoffs. The appointment is the championship. You can't just come up to Kevin Durant on March 31st on Thursday and say, I've come for the crown. That's not how you win the gold medal. And like I was going to tell you earlier, I've hung out with Denzel before.
We doing this again.
We are going to do this again. Let me just tell you, Denzel don't think nobody better.